Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. I was not expecting this. Cash is back. The world's oldest central bank, the Swedish Riksbank, wants more cash to circulate in the world's most cashless society. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with Sweden, they have been cashless for a very long time. My wife is Swedish. I know some of you guys know that. And we visited Sweden. I think the last time we visited was back in 2016. And even back then, Sweden was very cashless. They pretty much cashless all over the place, even at flea markets. We went to a flea market with our cousins, and we found out that, even when we wanted to buy something for, the equivalent of a couple of bucks, you needed to pay with something called Swish. And I know Swedish people probably know about this if you do put it down in the comments section. But guys, apparently now they are seeing a problem with that, and cash is coming back. Swish, credit card, or via mobile phone. Today, more and more transactions take place digitally, but that trend may have to be stopped for crisis and preparedness reasons. More cash must enter the economic cycle. So I'm really happy that, I don't know who's reporting on this, but whoever is, they get the idea, okay? But do we want notes in our wallets again? And what are the costs to society of a return to more cash? So in the studio, Christina Jashammer, head of the payments department at the Riksbank, and Era Mustafa, investment coach at Nordnet, and Gunther Marder, advisor and investor, and the program manager, Carolina Nurath Bergsten. I guess they are going to be the ones responsible for discussing this further. It is interesting, says Jim Knox. I remember very well my first time in Stockholm. Before entering a shop, you would see some signs like "no cash accepted," which was wild some years ago. Anders here, who is Swedish, from my understanding, did comment on this too. Great digital infrastructure for payments. For example, there's an instant payment app called Swish. So that's exactly what I was discussing there, Swish. Businesses are not legally required to accept cash payments in Sweden. A lot of countries, businesses are required to do so. The less cash payments a business receives, the less it makes sense financially to offer payments with cash because of the cost of handling cash. Much easier to handle everything digitally. Well, that is true, but that gives them, more ways to great reset us, Anders. This itself leads to a snowball effect, since less and less businesses offer payments with cash, which makes less people use cash. There's a robbery risk for businesses handling cash that goes away with digital payments as well. For example, one of the first businesses that stopped accepting cash in Sweden were buses. And I mean, for some businesses, I guess it does make sense. At the end of the day, though, you need the infrastructure to work. And I know in some countries it just isn't like that. Sweden has a culture of cashless and has been for a very long time. And that kind of trend changes over time for different countries. But anyway, wanted to thank Anders for posting that. Guys, we are seeing 750 million XRP moving in the last 24 hours. Now, if you guys didn't catch this morning's video, which I will link up here in the top right-hand corner, you know that the market has been moving. Bitcoin has been moving. XRP, though, has, it's been moving a little bit, but, we could do better. Right now, XRP is currently trading at 54 cents, but we did see it go as high as about 55.5 cents yesterday. So it is on the slight uptrend as of now. But guys, we are starting to see more volume of XRP moving. Trading volume, as per CoinGlass data, says that it did surge in the last 24 hours by 47.03%. It is currently standing at a whopping $754.99 million level, showing the great interest in XRP from investors and traders. This shows that bulls are returning to the market in anticipation of a potential rally. And just yesterday, I did show you guys those large XRP orders on the BITRUE exchange. So a lot of interest now. Open interest for XRP did also surge, as this article does say, by 3.42%. So that's another crucial indicator, as it highlights the number of open positions for a particular cryptocurrency. That is the other thing we have to remember too, guys. The people who are, and I know you're thinking, well, why? Because XRP is not moving. Why would anybody be interested in this particular cryptocurrency? Well, guys, these are savvy traders. These are smart people who realize, the market is trending upward. We are seeing, more positivity in the market. Sentiment is slowly moving up. And so, they are looking for particular cryptocurrencies that have not popped yet. And as we're seeing here, open interest, volume is rising, more buy orders are being listed on big exchanges. So there you go, guys. Some more metrics here regarding XRP. Of course, it is going to be a cryptocurrency that is going to be integrated worldwide through companies like Temos. For example, guys, some big news. Ripple partner Temos did just recently announce that they have signed a multi-country model bank development agreement with Bawan Cybertech, a global digital transformation company. Temos country model banks offer financial institutions a faster go-live experience with Temos solutions while simultaneously substantially reducing costs and risks through pre-configured banking functionality and country-specific localization. Down here it discusses just some of the technology that they use, and they're going to be integrating their extensive framework into financial institutions in a lot of these South Asian countries. This new agreement extends the close collaboration between the two companies, the BCT signing a strategic agreement with Temenos in 2022 to market, implement, and support all Temenos products and solutions in India, Sri Lanka, Nepal, and Bhutan particularly. Country model banks are a key differentiator for Temenos, and through such agreements, Temenos can scale this competitive advantage with partners further developing the business, building new model banks compatible with Temenos' composable banking solutions and SaaS offerings. So a lot going on here, guys, modernizing the financial system for these South Asian countries specifically. Notice there, India is definitely on the list. They are one of the major BRICS countries there, and it's only going to be a matter of time before I think a lot more of these countries are going to be joining the BRICS nations, including countries in the Middle East like Saudi Arabia. Well, Wrath of Kahneman here bringing this up. Interesting mention of Ripple for the future of cross-border payments. It's a generic response about blockchain, notable because it's focused on Saudi Arabia, where Ripple already does have inroads. And so, speaking of the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, one of those large economies, also the UAE, that is already Ripple does have an office over there in Dubai, but also a very crypto-friendly, crypto-forward country. And the Middle East, obviously, just generally speaking, predominantly Muslim. So we have XRP being that Sharia-compliant cryptocurrency as well. So regarding cross-border payments, blockchain solutions like Ripple have already demonstrated the ability to make international transactions more seamless and cost-effective. This is directly from that report here. It's mentioned by VC Margaris Ventures, and the link for the entire article is in there. But you can see Ripple has already demonstrated this ability, and people are making note of this, and scholars, financial institutions, they're making note of this. So wanted to thank Wrath of Kahneman for posting that. Speaking of the Middle East, we've got VARA. They're also co-hosting the Ripple Virtual Asset Regulation Collider in Dubai, guys, and that is happening today. This event aims to foster dialogue among regulators, industry leaders, and innovators in the rapidly evolving virtual asset space. It presents a unique opportunity to engage in meaningful discussions that will contribute to shaping a clear and effective regulatory framework for digital assets, ensuring sustainable growth in this dynamic market. So that is also happening. We did get news back in the summer that Ripple did apply for the VARA license, and then they did get granted a VARA license. So VARA is now co-hosting the Ripple Virtual Asset Regulation Collider. As you guys can see here, more information on that. And I will link all this in the description of the video for you guys. So we're looking to the East, as kind of a new emerging economy. And, over the years, they have been, just kind of growing and growing. There is nothing that can stop the global economic reset. This coming from George Papadopoulos. The Ukraine war was simply the accelerant that made numerous countries around the world seek alternatives to the US dollar and Western financial institutions for fear that they too could see their reserves frozen or countries sanctioned. So this is the thing, right? G7, those countries have always played gatekeeper to the financial system. And so countries like Russia, Iran, they've had sanctions put on them to restrict commerce capabilities in those particular countries. The negotiation to the end of the Russia-Ukraine war will end in a de facto Iron Curtain dividing East and West politically, militarily, but not economically. And guys, there's a reason for that. Europe also seeks to wean itself off the US dollar and promote the euro along with bilateral trade in other foreign currencies. Saudi Arabia has dumped the petrodollar, and the BRICS are rising. The only solution will be a new US dollar backed by a mix of crypto and gold. Before this will be an even larger conflict, though, that ushers in a new financial system. So this is all part of that Great Reset ideology, that Great Reset philosophy. If you know history going back to ancient Athens and Sparta, the above is not a matter of if, but of when. Dun, dun, dun. And we're already seeing it, guys, like here. They've already made agreements. This is a BRICS representative in Moscow recently, and here's what they had to say about what the BRICS countries are already doing.
In the BRICS meetings, there were very good agreements made regarding the financial and monetary sphere. Iran made good agreements with the Central Bank of Russia during the period when they were the Secretary of BRICS, and we had good agreements regarding the connection of card networks and monetary and financial cooperation, all of which we have raised in the BRICS. For example, today in the BRICS, the issue of paying for the transactions with local currency is one of the issues, and a very good agreement has been reached. Good agreements regarding global reserve payments and the use of bonds for payment were also made. We now have a global financial system based mostly on the IMF, the World Bank, and Western countries. Unfortunately, due to the political interactions with those countries, today the world is considering other arrangements. Definitely within the BRICS group of countries, such arrangements will be made between the member states. We have a payment system between countries based on local currencies. That was one of the topics of this meeting. China, Russia, and Iran are very interested in it. We have moved towards being able to conduct transactions with other countries in local currencies and reduce the role of the US dollar in international transactions. Russia has also made good progress. I think the BRICS countries have developed well and will definitely develop in the future. The new development bank, created by BRICS, can pursue many of the development goals of the BRICS member countries. Because today, the World Bank operates within the framework of the goals of the United States and Western countries. We hope that NDB will play this role for the BRICS member countries, and we want to become a member of NDB.
So very good agreements have been made when it comes to trade and settlement in national currencies. You know, he kept bringing that up, I think at least twice in this clip, discussing national currencies. Now, you cannot transact in national currencies without a system that is seamless. I mean, in the past, you'd use SWIFT. Obviously, these guys are leveraging DLT technology and possibly stablecoins. Any day now, Ripple will launch their RLUSD that will start to soak up the $2.3 trillion in money that is circulating around the world. I also just wanted to bring you guys this clip from Subjective Views. This is Yam Ki Chan, a Circle representative in the Asia Pacific region. And here's what he has to say about stablecoins. Guys, this all ties together. Listen to this.
Let me maybe break down a couple areas. First of all, we're still in very, very early days, right? We're sort of at the dial-up stage, moving towards broadband days of the internet for Web3. There are still many merchants, institutions, and users that don't yet have a Web3 wallet to even interact in that space, in this space. And I think that will get better. So we're still in the early days. So that's number one. So the market dynamics are not set. It's like saying, you know, when you look at the internet, there's only AOL and Mindspring. Like, if for those of you know who are from the US that were or CompuServe, like those are the two or three, and that there will be no other internet service providers, and that's actually not the case, and it moves and changes very, very quickly. So that's the first piece. The second piece is it's important to put stablecoins and proper stablecoin, like tokenized cash, in the context of what it is, which is the dollars in the world, especially dollars in the world. There's $2.3 trillion circulating in the world. Much of that that's in cash. Right. These are $100 bills in circulation, and zero. And essentially, it makes sense for some of these to be in digital form, and it makes sense for these to be movable on a immutable ledger, and that's really the opportunity set to think about. And if you were to add up the stable coins in dollar at the moment, we're at 160, 170 billion. That is barely a rounding error, right? In the $2.3 trillion worth of dollars in the world. So what that means is that A, is early days, and B, we should expect lots of different companies that are trying to come into and innovate in this space. And we are seeing that. Almost every other week, there's somebody launching a dollar-backed stablecoin or dollar-pegged stablecoin. Whether they're dollar-backed or not, it's a whole other question. Right. But I think everyone wants to figure out, like, how do you move money in the right way? So I think that's to be expected. So that's one. And the second thing is, it's important to separate tokenized cash stablecoins versus tokenized deposits, because again, back to what you referred to, there is fractionalization in deposits that is not the same, at least in the way that USDC is structured. And the counterparty for that are banks, and whether you can use these outside the banking network is still, I think, quite limited at the moment due to a number of reasons. So I think it's important that there'll be innovation in the payments and in currency space, but like what they are, I think is still early.
So we also have the United States with their push to keep a stablecoin present, whether it's within the BRICS nations. And so as Chan here does say, it's like somebody is launching a stablecoin every other week. Well, we know Ripple is going to be launching their stablecoin very soon, and it is going to soak up that $2.3 trillion of M0 circulating supply around the world. The other thing that I want to bring up, though, is, even though the BRICS are looking to exchange in their own currencies, that is not going to be 100% of trade. I'm sure there are still, decisions made that where, a U.S. dollar or a US stablecoin to replace the dollar will be used in this particular setting, and DLT technology is just going to make this a lot more simple. Well, the BRICS will be exploring AI, IoT, 5G, and the digital economy to promote the BRICS Bridge. So this was just from yesterday, guys, courtesy of Mr. Man here. They will also explore new cooperative models in AI, the Internet of Things, 5G, and the digital economy and low-carbon economy. First proposed by Russia, BRICS is preparing a digital payment platform called BRICS Bridge, which will complement the existing international payment mechanism and enhance member states' resilience on external economic sanctions. Promoting economic globalization is not an easy task. Through the BRI and BRICS, China and Russia have shown that cooperation has a greater effect than acting alone. So not only are they focused on these cross-border payments, guys, you can see they're also already exploring new technologies revolving around AI, the Internet of Things, 5G, so on and so forth. So, when it comes to, the BRICS modernizing, we got to remember the Russian Council of International Affairs is holding a roundtable on this topic, the factor of private and public partnerships in the process of de-dollarization of economic cooperation of the BRICS countries. Public and private partnerships. They have mentioned that in this document here. So there's another great one here, courtesy of Mr. Man. And so, guys, what does that mean? Well, we do know that Ripple does have significant partnerships with every single country in the BRICS nations, the original countries. Save for China, I know there has been some debate on that, but very strong connections to Brazil, to Russia, to India, and to South Africa. China, there's still a debate on that. But guys, the XRP ledger is interoperable for a reason. Think of how much money is going to go through these BRICS nations too, okay? I just brought up this statistic here, G7 versus the BRICS, taking stock in 12 figures. Now, some of these figures have to do with economy, others have to do with social and, climate change, health, and education. So I'm going to skip over the ones that don't have to do with the economy, but I wanted to just focus on some of these annual growth rates of real per capita GDP at purchasing power parities. Now, you take a look at some of the G7 and compare that to the BRICS nations, guys. BRICS is represented in red here, the G7 in blue. There are, though, limitations to national income statistics, which fail to capture non-market and hidden incomes, never mind the tendency of autocratic rulers to cook the books. Okay, so you can already see that this is a little biased. Anyway, income is not everything, and the broader perspective is called for, including political and social aspects. So they're already trying to, take the attention away from the economy, the economic, and they want to look at, the social and democratic because they think, oh, look at how much more sophisticated we are in this. Whoever put out this article, socialeurope.eu is the website. But anyway, even if we just look at per capita GDP, China, India, Brazil, South Africa, Russia, knocking it out of the park. The US and the UK, Germany, Canada, they do also have significant numbers, but really, guys, at the end of the day, some of these BRICS numbers really do surprise. We got life expectancy here. Some other reports here, political, civil rights, okay, corruption. I'm not going to go over those. I wanted to show you some like share of wealth held by the top percentile. And you look at this, guys, shows the concentration of wealth by the share of the richest 1% according to 2022 World Inequality Report. The average is 26% in the G7 and a fully 43% in the BRICS nations. So just giving you guys some idea of that there. Okay, shares of manufacturers in exports. So check this out. China, obviously a big one. India, South Africa, Brazil, and Russia, and that scales down. And the G7 actually doing quite well there as well. Finger Crinan Index of export diversification. So these are all economic trends here. So diversity in market exports. Russia, Brazil, South Africa, India, and China come in the top, and they dwarf the G7 countries by quite a bit. So you got to think how many different resources these BRICS nations do have to export. Let's take a look at this. The Thiel Index of Export Diversification. So this was 2014. Also the same kind of trend we're seeing there. They've got climate change performance there, which I don't really want to focus on, and it looks like that is the end. But you guys can see just from a few of these statistics, the BRICS nations do have a lot of resources, do have much to export, and a diversity, which I think is also a very important thing to note here. I will link this in the description if you guys want to go over it further, but the annual growth, this was the big one, of real per capita GDP, purchasing power parities. Guys, the point I want to make really is the fact that these BRICS nations, it's an emerging powerhouse that is actively saying, we want to use our own currencies. We're going to be using DLT technology. Then, you couple that with the stablecoins that are coming in the market, Ripple stablecoin, the XRP ledger, all things pointing to the fact that this new financial system, whether it's a cash going back to cash, some countries are already realizing, okay, we cannot have fully digital, going back to cash. Everybody is realizing, I think I can say this for sure, everybody's realizing that the financial system is changing. They want to be, whether they want to be protected or whether they want to jump on board and come along for the ride, they're all realizing there is going to be a huge change in the future. And guys, Ripple and XRP certainly going to play a major role in this. This is why I'm going to be holding some of my XRP for the long term, guys, moving into the next decade. I'm sure we will eventually see 3, 4, 5 digits per XRP. And for more information on what I'm trading, what I've decided my strategy is going to be, you can follow me at patreon.com/workingmoneychannel. It is only $5 a month. I think it's pretty good value for what you're getting. That's just my opinion, though. I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.